On January 22nd, the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony in Ayodhya marked a stark turning point. Not only did it seemingly extinguish the idea of a secular India, but it also signaled a shift in the core identity of Hinduism itself. This new Hinduism, championed by the BJP and the Sangh Parivar, deviates significantly from the Hinduism espoused by Swami Vivekananda, a figure often cited or mentioned by these very groups. A closer look at Vivekananda's writings reveals a stark contrast to the ideals behind the Ramjanmabhoomi movement. What would have been Vivekananda's attitude towards the Ramjanmabhoomi movement and the Ram Mandir? If one carefully examines Vivekananda's writings, his speeches and correspondence, one would have little doubt that he would have been pained by the destruction of the Babri Masjid. He would have asked his fellow Hindus to apologize to the Muslims for this sin and even urged them to help build back the mosque. But most of all, his heart would have bled at the thousands of lives lost in the riots following the Ramjanmabhoomi movement. Even as the BJP and millions of Hindus celebrate the consecration of Ram Lalla in the temple built where a mosque stood for 500 years, Vivekananda would see this not as a moment of triumph, but a moment of great danger to Hinduism, the religion he loved so much and to whose service he dedicated his life. Vivekananda was proud of Hinduism, its history of religious tolerance, and the fact that in his time Hindus had never carried out religious persecutions in their 3500-year-old history. In his famous speech at the World's Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893, he said,
"I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth."
But his belief about Hindus never persecuting others became untrue when the Ramjanmabhoomi movement culminated in the Babri Masjid demolition on December 6, 1992. The Ramjanmabhoomi movement assumes that 1. Temples are central to Hinduism, and 2. Ram is an actual historical personality who was an incarnation of God. Vivekananda would have disagreed with this, considering what he spoke about the role of temples in the Hindu religion. He said, "Temples have no hold on the Hindu religion. If they were all destroyed, religion would not be affected a grain." But what about Ram, Krishna, and other divinities of Hindu lore? Vivekananda believed that it wasn't necessary for Hinduism to believe that Ram and Krishna literally walked the earth, nor was it supported by historical facts. He once said of the Ramayana, "Take the Ramayana for illustration and for viewing it as an authority on building character. It is not even necessary that one like Rama should have ever lived. Our philosophy does not depend upon any personality for its truth." Now, the BJP and RSS want to make Ram and the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya essential to Hinduism and Hindus with the sole aim of political consolidation. But for Vivekananda, one of Hinduism's greatest advantages was that it was not tied down to any one personality. He was that rare spiritual figure who understood that bhakti, if not guided properly, could descend into sectarian fanaticism in no time. Ram is a representation of the idea of maryada, of ethics, justice, kindness, and love. But in his name, all that the Ramjanmabhoomi movement ever did was to trample upon the very principles that he stood for. That is neither doing God's work nor practicing the Maryada of Ram. Today, the secular constitutional Republic of India stands at a crossroads, as does Hinduism. Will it choose the Hinduism of Vivekananda's universality and the power of inclusion, or will it choose a new Hinduism fashioned by the RSS with its crude tribalism and hatred of others? That is up to Hindus to decide.